You guys, I have been so scattered lately, and the just incredibly random and disparate footage from the last 2 weeks is a perfect example. Okay, so if you're new here, my name's Mackenzie. This is my channel, Think Too Much. I post a lot of vlogs just kind of meditating on my current moment in life. I am a 30-year-old living in New York City with my husband, and just kind of taking you through my days, my weeks, and my internal monologues. If that is of interest to you, please stick around. And today we are going to be talking about we're going to be thinking too much about all of the shit that's just roaming around inside my brain and turning me into a little bit of a manic, crazy person. Okay, so if you've watched any of my last couple of vlogs, then you would know that me and Max are potentially kind of talking through and thinking about some kind of big life changes, the biggest of which being a potential move to San Francisco, which I can now say on the vlog because all of the important parties in our life have been informed. Nothing is set in stone just yet, but that almost makes it worse. I feel like I've been operating with kind of so many different things that I want to prioritize and devote time and attention to, that there just like isn't enough time in the day. Like it's just, and I kind of never know what to prioritize at any given moment. And in some ways I think that that could be a cool opportunity, right? Where it's just like, we'll do what you feel like doing. But obviously some things come with like anxiety. Maybe all things come with anxiety. Some things come with more anxiety than others. Like there's a lot of pressure associated with certain things, especially things that are kind of important to us structurally, i.e. like me being employed. And like what that could look like, because obviously when I started my job, they weren't like, yes, we expected you to move to San Francisco. Because neither did I. But yeah, I guess just kind of anticipating those conversations, but also trying to like prepare for a backup plan if, you know, they decide that they don't think it's appropriate for me to move forward in a remote capacity, which would be just completely fair because nothing about our employment agreements, you know, included that little caveat. Just kind of a lot. And then on top of that, kind of all the changes that Max is kind of going through, and like, you know, him being really excited about like a potential role that could get him out there, but that comes with so much pressure. So it's tough from my side, and then also kind of from Max's side, it's like I both want to be supportive of him, but then I kind of have my own feelings about kind of what he's going through, I guess, or like the kind of answers he's waiting on, the like things that he's doing. Like we're I think like particularly a little bit beholden to one another in terms of like how we're operating in our kind of independent lives. It's like, especially with the work stuff, so it's just kind of a weird mix of like overwhelm and like this desire to like support your partner even though like you're going through a ton of changes, and like feeling all this pressure too, and also just kind of like grappling with the kind of unanswerable right now questions that have a pretty hefty impact on your life, grappling with the fact that like the like actions that you're taking in your day-to-day, they can almost feel like useless when you know everything's about to change, if that makes sense. That's not to say that they definitely aren't, but I think that it can feel so like weird when you're anticipating like a lot of things shifting and not exactly knowing which things will be shifting. Just like it's like kind of weird to like show up in your own life because you're probably preparing for that transition, preparing for that change should it present itself, but then also kind of like having to live your normal life as if it's normal, which it's not, because everything might change, which just kind of renders like everything that you're doing a little bit it turns it into an enigma. You're just like, well, why am I doing this? And there's reasons. There's good reasons why you're doing it. But they're not quite as like rock solid as they were before, right? Where it's like, you know, because I am a person with integrity, I want to kind of continue to show up in my work life in a way that's like really earnest and like hardworking and whatever else. But at the same time, I'm kind of questioning like, all right, well, if they want to let me go, like, am I just kind of putting in all of this like time and effort, or like thinking about like my future at the company or whatever? Like, is it just kind of a moot point? So I think that there's like just a lot of that happening in like various areas of our life. It just puts things on pause. It's like, what is the point of cleaning our apartment if we are about to have to move out? And I actually just thought of the point, and the point is, one, to feel comfortable in our day-to-day life right now, but two, to make it easier to clean when we move out. So I'm gonna bank that one. But that's just kind of what I mean. It's just like everything starts to feel like, and it's probably so much of it is just like the brain playing tricks on you, but it's like everything starts to feel like, well, wait, but what's the point if it's all gonna change? And then like, not even to mention all the overwhelming fears about like moving away from like so many of my best friends. Even though we're moving like closer to family, it's like, I fucking love the friends that I have here. I have excellent taste. And it's just like so sad to think that I won't get to live right by them anymore. And I have friends in like on the West Coast, so I'll be closer to some like very, very close friends, which will be amazing. But they don't live in San Francisco. I've got like a friend or two in San Francisco, but nothing robust in terms of like a social network. So it'll be a little bit starting from scratch, and it's a lot. It is a lot, and I think all things considered, we're both coping pretty well. Max is like, and it's funny because we're dealing like with such different versions. I'm kind of like, okay, well, if like my work decides to move in a different direction because of this change, totally understandable. Like, I'm gonna have to like face all of these kind of big questions about my career, and I think naturally like this transition does kind of prompt me to get more serious about facing potential like just questions about my career, and just, it's like, all right, time to be an adult, time to like, I don't know, network and like really get clear about what I want. But yeah, all of that is to say, there's a lot happening right now, and it's very exciting in some ways, and yeah. Some days it's very exciting, some days it's very overwhelming. No matter what, it's a lot of change, and the brain kind of, I feel like my brain has been coping with it in all sorts of weird, funky ways, but I don't know, I guess every now and again it's nice to have a reminder that you're alive. And that's a little bit what this feels like, so here's to life, I guess. I will be so real with you that I have no idea where I'm going next with this video. I might just cut it off after this. I'm not sure. I don't think there's a coherent story to tell about the last couple weeks of our lives. We've still managed to like live life and do fun things while dealing with potential change, trying to facilitate said potential change should it come to fruition. Which is great, all in days, but I'm just considerably worse at recording it, which I think makes sense given everything else that's like running through my head right now. So